Hi Apple lovers and welcome to another episode of the Tech Hub. In today's episode, I'm going to show you how to make use of this, an iPod, in 2025. We're going to look at how to get music into your library and how to sync it with this awesome classic device. So, is it going to be worth it? Let's find out. Let's start the episode. Okay, so let's talk about what kind of made me want to make this video. So a few months back, I was up in the loft where I keep all my empty boxes of my tech, and I came across these two huge wallets of music CDs. And I was like, right, I'm going to finally rip these to my Mac, and then they're in my music library. Kind of at the same time, throughout lots of eBay searches that I do, I kept on coming across iPods, particularly the iPod Classic. These seem to be having a bit of a resurgence and people are loving them again. Now, I have done an episode on this, which I'll put in the link below. These still work as intended in 2025. They're great. So I really wanted to focus today's episode on how to get your own music, whatever format it is, onto Apple Music or iTunes so that you yourself can either use an iPod that's just lying around, or like me, you buy an iPod for a specific reason. So the specific reason I wanted it is rather than have the CDs in my car, which does have a CD player, I can just pop them on this and then plug this directly into the CD player, and it's a lot better anyway because then you can search for artists and names depending on your car. So anyway, I wanted to make a video about that journey and how to accomplish it, because like most people have an iPhone, I still think there's a lot of iPods out there that aren't being used, and I also think a lot of people have old libraries of music that they don't listen to, but they've still kept hold of the CD, cassette, or vinyl. So that to me is interesting as well. And I hope this video inspires people to rediscover their libraries and make use of this old device so you can still listen to your music that you collected. Because back in the day when you were physically buying stuff, it was a proper collection. It wasn't just streaming or downloading or favoriting a song. You physically had it. So I hope this video accomplishes that. So we are going to specifically focus on CDs. However, the same principle applies to cassettes and vinyls. You just need to get a device that does that. Now, the easiest way really, if you have an old cassette player or record player, is to get a USB-C or USB-A converter to an audio connection, whether that be RCMA lead or a line in something. There's plenty of available things on sites like Amazon and eBay, or to get a specific cassette player to USB or vinyl to USB, and all these are available. However, today we'll just be focusing on CDs. So let's start off with that. So in this part, I'm going to specifically show you how to rip your CDs and put them into Apple Music. For Windows users, you do have Apple Music, but you can still get the iTunes app as well. So fundamentally, I'm going to show you on my Mac, but it should be pretty much the same principle on a PC as well. Okay, so as you can see, I've got my Mac ready. I've got Apple Music loaded. Now, like I said, the principles are the same on Windows, but you can get iTunes or Apple Music app there. On a Mac, it's only Apple Music. So I have my external CD drive plugged in. What's ironic is the one that Apple makes is no longer compatible with Mac OS. So anyway, if you have a external hard drive already or an internal one on your device, just pop your CD in, and you'll see it come up. Now I've got it set to auto import and give me some options as well. Now it's already discovered the CD, it's named the CD. Now this is the good thing about transferring CDs, all the information's there. And it detects the CD and pre-populates your names. However, you can manage that yourself, and I'll show you how to. Because I've already imported this, it's saying, do you want to replace those? I don't, I just want to show you this. So literally, it's now going to copy every single track. Now, CDs being CDs and being quite old, they might be fairly scratched. Be patient at this stage. Even a scratched CD can still be read, it just takes longer. However, if the app crashes, then it's not readable. So you have to force quit the app, eject your CD and start again. But as you can see, this one is important absolutely fine. Now you should have your library turned on to organize itself and copy files. Make sure you have all of that set up so it keeps your file system intact. I'm pretty sure it defaults, but if it doesn't, tell it to organize the library yourself. So once this is imported, I'll show you about the data management then. Okay, so that's now finished importing. So if you eject the CD, now this is where it's quite buggy. It skips to the CDs no matter which tab you're on the left here. So for example, I was on albums. Then when I put the CD in, that tab was still highlighted and I couldn't go into albums until the CD finished. So Apple Music is still quite buggy with it, considering how old it is. That's a bad Apple. So anyway, the CD is now digitized and it should show up under recently added. Now, if it doesn't show up there, another buggy thing, if you close it and reopen it, it should then appear. There it is there. In this case, it has found the album artwork. However, if you right click it, you can click on get album artwork. Now, if that doesn't work, and it doesn't always work, it's very simple. It's just a case of doing a Google search. So if you do a Google search for the album, go to images, here's the artwork here. Now, if you right click it and click on get info, this is for every single track. Again, you can change the artist, the album, you can drag this across. So if I click on this image and drag it, look, there it is. Done. So that's a good tip to know if the album artwork isn't automatically done. Even if you right click it and click get album artwork, it doesn't always work. You can also go in if this hasn't done these correctly. You can go in and click on get info on each individual track and change the name if you need to. You can add lyrics if you want. There are third-party apps to do it as well. But my tip is if you're doing something in bulk, just click it from the album artwork where I was. If you want to do individual, click on the individual track. And this is where you can change that information if it is wrong. So that's how to get the files from a CD to Apple Music. Now, if you are using a different device, just say you're doing records and cassettes, obviously you need to get, once you've got those audios, you import those, just drag and drop those files into Apple Music, and you are going to have to go in and do this manually. The only reason it auto detects the CD is because of the internet, and it knows how to read the CD to identify the CD. It's going to be a bit more of a process, but fundamentally, just right click on it and edit it here. Most iPods showed album artwork. I hate not having it, so for me it's worth taking the extra to make sure you've got your album artwork correctly and the correct names of the songs. So now you've got all of your music in your library, I'm now going to show you how to sync that to your iPod. Now the next thing for me to show you is how to put those songs onto your Apple device. Now, just by chance, the mailman just delivered this. I got a pristine iPod Nano. So as much as I've been talking about my iPod Classic at the moment, this is the Nano version. It's super diddy, but the principle is the same. So it's a 30-pin connector. I've got this hooked up to the front of my TS4 because my Mac Mini doesn't have a USB-A. So that's another thing to consider. You might have to get a dongle to plug in USB. I very much doubt what they do 30-pin to USB-C. So anyway, I'm going to plug in the iPod. And you will see it in Finder. As you can see, here it is. This is the 16 gig version, which so should be fine for my music library I've got. Now remember, it will not transfer Apple Music files, only downloaded or transferred files that you have. This does not work with Apple Music files or any streaming thing. So Looks like it's up to date. Let's have a look. Yeah, they very rarely, so I'm going to call this. It's literally the first time I've used this. iAshes, I like that. Ashes iPod Nano, here we go. Literally the first time I've used this device. It's empty as well. Now, there isn't a lot of choices here. On a classic, you might have a choice for TV and movie and videos. Well, that's great. Here I've just got music. So I want to sync all of my music. I want to do the entire library. Now, when I say entire library, anything that's compatible will work. I am going to exclude the videos though, because they are too big. So you just click apply. So as we can see from that, my library is too big for the iPod. Well, that's fine. I can just do selected. So you can create playlists for this so you have a bit more control. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select everything. And then I'm going to deselect it as I try to find what I can fit on here and what I can't fit on here. Once you click apply, it's going to do its thing and you just literally leave it. So remember, this is in Finder. Now you can see the iPod on Apple Music. And if you click sync settings, then you're taken to here. So this is where you can read what's on it. And this is everything it's going to transfer. You've got to leave it. It's not the fastest thing in the world. Mine goes even a little bit slower because all my files are on a separate external hard drive, so that transfer speed's a bit slow as well. So you're doing all of the things and you're selecting it from Finder. You can just see it in Apple Music. Now on a Windows PC, so in Apple Music or iTunes, this is pretty much the same thing. You won't see it in Windows. You will see it as a hard drive, but not to sync like you do on a Mac. You just do this, what I've done here, you just do that in Apple Music or iTunes, and it's the same thing. So that is syncing. I'm not going to show you the end of the sync, I assure you it is working. And that's pretty much how to sync your files. So uses for these old iPods today, still use it as an iPod. I mean, I'm planning to use this the next time I'm next to a swimming pool sipping a cocktail or I'm on the beach. I'm probably not going to use it when I'm running or exercising because my phone's with me and I have my watch for tracking anyway. I'm definitely going to use it in the car. Now, anything that has a USB connection, a lot of people still have DVD players. Most of them had a USB in where they were compatible with iPods. Same with cars, plug it in via USB in the car. So these very much have their place in today. Now, I'm not saying that Apple should re-release them, not at all. But there's so many out there that I think it's just worth not forgetting about this device, because out of all of the retro Apple devices I've done videos on, this one still works as intended. And I still think it has a place in society. Now, of course, before I conclude today, you can just listen to it directly, of course. So why not go get the classic AirPods from Apple? You can get them for about £10 on Amazon. They fit great. They sound fine. You can get different connections. You can still get the headphone jack. They also do a USB-C version as well. However, why not mix this up and make it completely retro? It just works. Okay, so thank you for watching today's episode. Tell me, do you still have an iPod you use? If not, do you have one and this video is going to inspire you to make use of it or even transfer a music library? Let me know in the comments below. As always, please like this video and subscribe to me. You can also follow me on Instagram and Threads at TechHubWiltUK. Please check out my website, www.techhubwiltuk.co.uk, and I'll see you on the next episode.